Have you ever had one of those days where a sense of weight settles over everything? You wake up, but the spark of excitement is missing. You attempt to focus, but your mind wanders aimlessly. You're aware of your goals, and perhaps you even have a detailed plan, yet some deep internal force resists motion. This isn't laziness, nor is it a sign that you are doing something wrong. Sometimes it is simply the texture of life and the reality of being human. I want to gently ask you today, where do you typically turn to find your motivation? Is it in the rhythm of music, the jolt of a strong cup of coffee, or perhaps in the faces of people you admire and love? Motivation is a force we all pursue from time to time. We yearn to remain positive, to feel inspired, and to embody the best versions of ourselves. But here is a profound truth I have come to learn. You do not need to feel positive all the time to continue moving forward. In fact, you do not need to wait for motivation to arrive at all. This message is especially for you if you have recently been feeling a drain on your energy, a sense of being stuck, or a cloud of uncertainty. Together, we will explore soft, simple methods to sustain your motivation and protect your mindset, even on days when the light feels distant and unreachable. Let me share a personal story. There was a period in my life when I felt an overwhelming weariness with everything. I was working diligently, pursuing what I loved, and yet a strange emptiness lingered. No matter how many to-do lists I meticulously crafted, I simply could not summon the desire to act. When I forced myself to push onward, the joy began to seep out of my work. One evening, instead of pushing harder, I surrendered to silence. I turned off all the noise. No phone, no music, no pressure. And I asked myself a single question. What do I truly need right now? The answer that arose from the quiet surprised me. I didn't need a grander dream, more success, or external validation. What I needed was rest. I needed a dose of kindness and a gentle reminder that I was already doing enough. That night didn't magically fix everything, but it shifted something fundamental within me. It reminded me that motivation does not always shout. Sometimes it whispers. Perhaps today you don't need more pressure. Perhaps what you need is a softer approach, a collection of quiet tools to help you stay on your path without burning out. Let's begin this gentle journey together. The power of your morning's first light. Let's talk about mornings. I understand they aren't universally loved. Some of us feel sluggish when we wake, while others feel immediately rushed. But regardless of what kind of person you are, one truth remains. How you begin your day profoundly influences how you carry the rest of it. Imagine waking up and instantly reaching for your phone. You scroll through a cascade of social media updates, news alerts, and messages. Before you've even had a chance to brush your teeth, your mind is already cluttered, agitated, and tired. Now, picture a different scenario. You awaken slowly, you take a full and deep breath and stretch your body. Perhaps you drink a warm glass of water. Maybe you simply gaze out the window, saying nothing at all for a minute. You move with gentle intention, and for a fleeting moment, you are simply present. That is the power of a mindful morning start. It doesn't need to be long or elaborate. It just needs to be intentional. When we begin our day with a sense of peace, we give our minds the space to breathe. And when our minds can breathe, motivation becomes easier to find. I have discovered that even 5 minutes in the morning, used with care, can change the entire complexion of a day. It is like planting a seed of calm, of clarity, of direction. Here are a few morning habits that can help you stay grounded. No phone for the first 30 minutes. Allow your mind to awaken on its own terms. The world and its demands can wait. Hydrate your body. It sounds simple, but most of us wake up dehydrated, which can leave us feeling foggy and depleted of energy. Write one sentence in a journal, just one. It could be an intention like, "Today I choose peace," or a reminder, "I don't need to rush to be valuable." Do one thing slowly. Make your bed, wash your face, or stretch, but do it with your full, undivided attention, as if it is the most important task in the world, because in that moment, it is. There's a quote I hold dear. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Your morning habits are your foundational system. We often think of motivation as a grand, fiery emotion, but more often it arrives quietly, born from the small, consistent things we repeat every day. A quiet morning leads to a stronger day, and a stronger day becomes a step forward, no matter how small. Protect your mind like a garden. Think of your mind as a quiet, private garden, a sacred space that only you can tend. In this garden, every thought you entertain is like a seed. Some seeds grow into beautiful flowers, vibrant and full of life. Others sprout into weeds, tangled and casting shadows of doubt. Now, ask yourself, what kind of seeds have you been planting lately? We live in a world saturated with noise. We are constantly exposed to curated glimpses of other people's lives, a barrage of opinions, and an endless scroll of posts, videos, and comments. Some of this content can inspire us, but much of it can leave us feeling small, inadequate, or hopelessly behind. The truth is, if you do not actively protect your mind, negativity will find its way in. Guarding your mental space is one of the most effective ways to stay positive and motivated. Here is how you can become a more mindful gardener. Be selective about what you consume. This applies not just to food, but to information, conversations, music, and even background noise. Everything you allow into your awareness becomes a part of your inner world. Spend time in silence. This may feel uncomfortable at first in our hyper-connected world, but silence is powerful. It creates the space for you to hear your own voice again, unobscured by the noise of society, pressure, or fear. Even 5 to 10 minutes of quiet a day can help your mind feel clearer, and with clarity, motivation naturally returns. Surround yourself with reminders of who you aspire to be. This can be as simple as a post-it note with an inspiring quote on your wall, a photograph that evokes a feeling of peace, a playlist that lifts your spirits, or a friend who speaks with kindness and believes in your dreams. Motivation isn't something you find once and possess forever. It is something you must recreate daily through small, conscious choices. So, protect your inner garden. Water it with words of kindness. Uproot the weeds of comparison. Let the sunlight in by choosing to engage with positive energy. Carry this gentle phrase with you. My mind is my home. I will treat it with care. You cannot always control what happens around you, but you can always influence what grows within you. Embrace progress, not perfection. Have you ever started a new endeavor with a surge of excitement only to abandon it because your first attempts weren't good enough? Perhaps you were learning a new language, or maybe you began a new habit like exercising or writing. At first, you felt motivated, but a single mistake or a day of slow progress made you feel like a failure. If this resonates with you, I want to share a simple but transformative idea. Progress always matters more than perfection. The belief that we must do things perfectly to feel proud is a trap. Perfection is not a real destination. It is an ever-shifting idea, a horizon that recedes as you approach it. You can never truly reach it. What is real, however, is progress. One step, one attempt, one small improvement at a time. I once had a student who was incredibly shy. Every time she spoke English, she would begin with an apology. Sorry, my English is terrible. The truth was, her English wasn't terrible at all. She was simply comparing herself to an impossible standard. I asked her to try one small change, to stop saying I'm sorry and start saying I'm learning. So, every time she made a mistake, she would affirm, I'm learning. Every time she forgot a word or felt nervous, the refrain was the same, I'm learning. 6 months later, she was speaking with noticeably more clarity and confidence. She had not become perfect, but she had kept going. She refused to give up. That is what progress looks like. If you want to stay motivated, remember that you don't need monumental wins every day. You just need movement. Even the slowest progress is still progress. Think of it as climbing a mountain. Some days you will walk briskly, and other days you may only take a few labored steps. On some days, you will simply need to rest. But as long as you don't walk backwards, you remain on the path. And that is enough. Focus on your small wins, celebrate your effort, and compare yourself only to who you were yesterday. Let go of the illusion that you must be perfect to be worthy. Instead, tell yourself, every step I take is building something. I am not where I used to be, and I am not done yet. Stay gentle, stay moving. We have talked about the power of mornings, the importance of your mindset, and the freedom of progress. But before we conclude, I want to leave you with a final, deeper truth that is simple yet so easy to forget. You do not have to fight your way through life. You can move forward gently. Many of us believe that we must constantly push, strive, and hustle to succeed. We carry our goals like a heavy burden, always rushing, always worrying. But what if you don't have to run to get where you're going? What if you can walk, breathe, and even rest and still grow? Staying positive and motivated does not mean you are perpetually happy. It does not mean you never feel tired or sad. It means you learn how to be kind to yourself when things are difficult. It means you continue to choose your path, even when the journey is slow or messy. Real strength is quiet. It reveals itself in the way you try again after a setback, in the gentle words you offer yourself after a mistake, and in the unwavering commitment to keep going, not with a roar, but with love. Pause for a moment and consider this. When was the last time you truly appreciated how far you have come? We so often forget, fixating only on the distance we have yet to travel. Think about the person you were 1 year ago. What challenges were you facing then? What have you overcome since? Even if your progress feels small or is invisible to others, you are growing, and that growth is what truly matters. Today, I invite you to be gentle, not weak, but kind with yourself, with your journey, and with your pace. Carry these reminders with you. Motivation is not a feeling you wait for. It is a decision you make through small actions. Positivity is not the absence of pain. It is the belief in hope, even in the midst of it. Rest is not quitting. It is healing. Slow progress is still progress, and gentle steps will still move you forward. You do not have to feel powerful every day to live a powerful life. You simply have to keep choosing that next step with care, with intention, and with heart. Stay gentle, stay moving, and always remember to come back home to yourself. You are doing so much better than you think.